So look, we're defining gardening terms. You always do such a good job with this, Dr.
Thank you
Kelly.
very much.
All right, so let's start with the first one.
All right.
Ground cover.
Ground cover, okie dokie. That is a low-growing, typically low-growing plant that's used in places that you may not can have lawn. It's also used in places where you have highly erodible soil. So, and they don't particularly have to be low-growing, because I saw a neighbor of mine on his ditch bank had daylilies that just totally covered the bank, kept the weeds out, and kept the erosion. So it's a low-growing plant used in places that you wouldn't have lawn or that wouldn't work for lawn, and highly erodible, under trees, you know, where grass can't grow. A lot of people put a ground cover there, so that's what it did.
So ground cover. And again, these are terms that, look, horticulturists throw out all the time, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like this next one, ephemeral. We hear that one all the time.
Yeah, isn't that, you know, a good term? I like to say that, ephemeral.
Ephemeral.
Yeah, isn't that a great word? Ephemeral.
That's one you had to work on for a while there.
Oh no, I got it. Ephemeral. It's something that's here today and gone tomorrow. Very, very short lifespan. And to give you an example, which everybody probably would know, is a lot of our woodland spring flowers are ephemerals. They will come up like May apples,
yeah, I was thinking
and
the same
trilliums. You know, they will come up, do their thing, and then by the heat of the summer, they're gone. They've gone dormant. So they have a really fast season, and that means they're ephemeral. You know, so that's what
Like
it
my
means.
paycheck.
Yeah.
All right. Ephemeral.
Here today, gone tomorrow. Really
Gone
quick.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
There it is.
Something that lasts for a very short time, in other words. It not could just be plants. It could be like your paycheck.
All right. How about this next one? Volunteer. This is the volunteer stage.
Yeah,
so
that's what happens when you
Football
don't.
fan.
No, no. That's what happens when you don't deadhead.
You
get volunteers,
I like
which
that.
means
I like
little
that.
seeds that are all scattered from plants that maybe you don't want, maybe you do want. So it could be either one. Volunteers are those plants that come up from seeds, you know, that you didn't plan on.
Right.
And they can be a good thing or they can be a bad thing. And we have some flowers that are very, very prolific reseeders, you know, so you can either pull them up or, you know, transplant them or just pull them up and throw them in the compost pile. But that's a plant that comes up without you doing it, just volunteered from seed that got there, yeah.
That's a problem with these Roundup Ready crops, that when you have Roundup Ready corn and you follow it with Roundup Ready soybeans and you have volunteer Roundup Ready corn that comes up next year and Roundup doesn't kill it across the top and vice versa. But it's more corn. You'll see a lot of corn, volunteer corn,
So volunteer's a
in cotton and
problem.
soybean. It can be a problem.
It could be a problem. So, all right, so volunteer. This next term, very popular term these days, organic.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Organic. Everybody wants to grow stuff organic or buy organic, and that's a term that's used kind of loosely sometimes, but the definition, we got two definitions. One of them, if you talk about something that is organic, that means that it's derived from living matter, and it's a carbon-based organism. You want to get scientific about it, but when we talk about organic food, organic farming, that's a type of production that does not allow, if you're certified through organic programs, does not allow artificial or synthetic type chemicals and pesticides and those kind of things. So everything used has to be organic. Organic fertilizers, organic pesticides, you know, so for it to be truly organic produce, you know, that's what it has to be.
Well, yeah, Mr. D talks about that as well. You know,
Yeah.
organic. All right, broadcast.
That's what we're doing, right? We broadcasting, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that is a type of fertilizing technique, okay? That means you just get your hand in the bucket and just sling it. Or you can use a spreader. Put your fertilizer in the spreader and, you know, do this, and it just slings it every which way. That's called broadcast.
Or you can do it with seed also.
Well, sure, it could be seed. Yeah, it could be seed. But it's a application, maybe technique for seed and fertilizers, as opposed, when we're talking about fertilizers, as opposed to maybe side dressing, where you put the fertilizer in a band, you know, next to the crop, you know, or soluble fertilize, which you put through water. So it's a type or technique of application.
Application technique. Okay.
Yeah, and that, you know, that's an agricultural term that the broadcast media picked up. I mean, it originally is
from us.
it's an agricultural
they got
term
it.
that's
They
got
stole our word,
agricultural
didn't
roots. You're right, they did, and they didn't We should have gotten
Didn't
it
get any
copyrighted.
credit for it.
We should have gotten
The
it copyrighted.
broadcast.
should have.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Know that. All
We
right.
need a footnote to that.
Well, broadcasts, I mean, you're talking about broadcasts, you're going to be talking about fertilizers, right? So,
Yeah.
complete,
Oh,
incomplete
yeah,
fertilizer.
okay, yeah.
Right.
And people will say, okay, well, I need a complete fertilizer. Well, you know, or a gardener or somebody, you know, at the garden store or something, or the co-op will say, well, you really need a complete fertilizer. And all that means is the analysis has all three numbers. You know, they're like triple 13, which is
Good
a very triple 8. That means there's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. It has all three nutrients in that fertilizer. The three main ones, so it's complete. Now, if you had something like ammonium nitrate, which
Good
is
example,
got
yeah.
nitrogen, which would be 3400. See, that's has no phosphorus, has no potassium, so that is an incomplete fertilizer. But complete means it's got all three nutrients,
All right.
N, P, and K.
And P and K.
Yep.
Our next gardening term is frass.
Who?
Frass.
I know, that's an odd word,
It
isn't
is.
it? Yeah.
It is.
And that is actually a byproduct of wood boring insects. When they bore into something, you'll see all this frass coming out, and it can be part of the sawdust, or it can be something that the insects are passing that is what's called frass. And it just looks like a little, almost like coffee grounds sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a product of wood boring insects that you'll
Wood
find, and other you know, boring insects.
Okay.
Frass.
Frass.
Yeah, I know, weird word.
All right, our next gardening term is xeriscaping.
Yeah, that's a term that is getting a lot of press now, and it's because people that are concerned with conserving water, that is a type of landscaping where that you do limit irrigation, you limit the type of plants that require a lot of water. You want to go more toward the plants that are more arid requirements that don't require a lot of water. So it's a type of landscaping that incorporates water conservation techniques like mulching or picking species that do not require a lot of water. You know, like the succulents and cacti and yuccas and things like that. Definitely, they've been doing it out west
Right, but
forever
they've been doing-
because they
yeah.
don't have any choice.
Right.
You know,
That's
but
right.
here we can conserve water the same way by going more toward this kind of landscaping.
Xeriscaping. Like
Yeah.
that. Our next gardening term is zone.
Yeah, we in the zone.
We're in the zone.
We in the zone here. Yeah, exactly. Well, the United States is divided into all of these plant zones,
Okay.
and they're based on the average minimum winter temperature, which means, and there's like, I don't know how many zones all across the U.S. I was going to look and I forgot. It's a bunch. It's like 13 or something. I don't really remember. And they go up as you go down.
Right.
In other words, like 9 and 10 would be Florida and all this stuff. But we're in 7B in North Mississippi. And I think Memphis is like 7B, 8A.
Yeah, 7B, 8A.
Yeah,
Carol
it's-
Reese would tell you so.
It's
Yeah.
both.
Right,
You
it's
know,
both.
it's just
One of
kind
those
of.
zones goes up and goes up along the Mississippi
Yeah,
Delta.
well,
doesn't it?
of course, the river, you know, it's a heat retaining body of water,
Right,
so you're going to get a different, you know, plant zone along big bodies of water and mountain ranges and this kind of thing. But it's based on ranges of minimum winter temperatures. And for example, 7B, where I live, we can assume in a typical winter that we're going to have the lowest temperature is going to fall in the range from 5 to 10 degrees. And sometimes you think, well, that's awfully cold. But you know, we actually do get that cold. It may be
Oh,
just
yes.
one day
Yes.
or a couple of days, but you know, and it's all for plant hardiness.
That's all it takes.
We have these
Yeah.
plant zones to help us decide, based on that plant's hardiness, winter hardiness to the cold temperatures, what would be the recommended plants for our zone. So, you know, landscapers use it, gardeners use it, you know, and it's usually on the plant label.
It's on the label.
Yeah, zone 8, zone 9. And if you're zone 9, that means that that plant would not take a cold winter up here because that temperature range is going to be higher. You know, I told you when the numbers go up, the temperatures go up.
Right.
So,
Good stuff.
yeah, you have to look at it and say, okay, well, I can't grow that plant here. But that never stopped a gardener from trying, right?
Yeah, it doesn't stop gardeners. They're going to try it anyway. You know that.
Yeah, but that's what that's about.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Kelly.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.